welcome to Blendline TV Live, episode 9 here from the Sydney studios of Blendline. With me again, Garry O'Brien. Garry, a big week in motorsport this week as we've got the 6 hour up this weekend, and we're going to chat to Michael Cabbage a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And we'll also be reviewing some of the stuff that we've seen over the weekend. That's not just past, but the one before that.
That's true.
Strictly speaking of the Australian Motor Racing Series from Morgan Park in Queensland.
That's it, and a little bit of news to round out as well on Monday night next week, 8:30 p.m. It is Easter Monday, but we will have New South Wales sports stands combined with the national sports stands. We just finished commentary for that one today.
Yeah, pretty
Great
good stuff.
episode. Yeah,
Right.
Plenty of action. So there's plenty to see from the DEA exhaust national sports stands and Duggan Family Hotels supporting New South Wales sports stands this round out. They've had a phenomenal season so far this year, and now national sports stands head to the Bend next up in July, while New South Wales goes to Wakefield Park in late May.
Yeah, so we've got another doubleheader coming on that weekend.
It's going to be pretty interesting.
We'd just like to spread them out a little bit more, but unfortunately we haven't been able to.
And hopefully we'll be able to get plenty more racing from there. Got a few people already joining in, so thank you for watching. David Barnett, loves the show, so great to have him involved. Sorry, I stumbled over the name 3 times. Also, really good news coming out of Thundersports this week. They opened entries for round 2 of the championship over at Talon Bend, which will be live here on Blendline TV with the Australian Motor Racing Series. That's not until late June 22, 23, and 15 entries within an hour of opening entries. So
everyone's keen to get over to the Bend. They had two events there last year. Of course, supercars were there in the second half of the year, and we were there earlier in the year for the CAMS National Championship, and they packed the place, didn't they? Like entry-wise.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic racing that we didn't really expect out of it, I guess you could say. So it was good to see Thundersports coming on so strong. John Rivesky putting in a huge amount of effort there behind the scenes. Make sure to check out their website. Go search Thundersports or check out Thundersports on Facebook, and you'll find plenty more action there.
And I must say that everyone that's raced there really likes it. The facilities are A1. The amenities are A1, and the track itself is certainly worthwhile having a look at. A little bit dusty and windy the first time we were there last year, but that was very different weather to what we normally get, and it's not something you would see there all the time.
No. And we're looking forward to getting over there, though. It's going to be a big weekend. GT1 actually launches this weekend, combined with New South Wales Prod Sports, who we love New South Wales Prod Sports. Plenty of great action from them over the years. Make plenty of highlights packages, and they're at Bathurst this weekend, so that's going to be pretty impressive to see with 40-something cars on the grid.
Yeah, I think it's max. I think it's around 55, actually.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be huge.
Of course, improved production, another one of the categories we have a fair bit to do with. They've got a full entry, as does the XLs. So there's 165 cars just in supports, along with the 25 heritage cars and the 45-odd 6-hour cars. So it's a big meeting.
It is huge. Speaking of big meetings, though, the AMRS headed to Morgan Park for their second round of the championship. We're going to go through the 3 regular categories we have this week. We'll take a look at the Queensland categories next week on the show, and have a look now at some action from Formula 3 Australia to kick things off, because they had their second round, and it was John Magro leading the way yet again.
Yeah, round 2 of the Australian Formula 3 Championship. Of course, the first round was down at Wakefield Park, Winton, I should say, Winton Raceway. And here we go, first race. And I don't know how many people who are from the Southern States will be familiar with Morgan Park. Great little facility, particularly when you're up in this area going under the bridge. Then down to turn 4, what they call Gumtree Corner, and around there. And then, of course, there's a really fast bit after they get through this section. There's a downhill run. It goes off the left-hander as they go up this little bit of a rise. One that didn't quite make the rise.
Yes. A little bit of a spin there as John Magro took out race 1 victory, and then this is Riley Brook having a few dramas and unfortunately running over his front wings.
Yeah, Riley's I believe from up that way, so it's his home turf, so he should know the place better than anyone else. Meanwhile, we see our race leaders battling it out. This must be race 2, is it?
Race 2 highlights at the moment. Yeah, Peasley got the jump away. Magro with a lot of work to get past and force the issue. Yeah, down the back section. Great racing from the pair of them. And then John Magro getting out in front was able to put his head down and launch into to a lap time of a 1 minute 8.2. Roberts facing the wrong way out of turn 6 caused the second safety car of this short race, which was unfortunate for F3, as we see the field come streaming down towards turn 1 once the safety car came back in. These guys, of course, at Tailend End on June 22nd, 23rd, with live streaming by Blendline, as we see a little rotation. To find yourself facing the wrong way. I think that was Ryan Astley, who only his second meeting in the Formula 3 car.
Yeah,
so.
he did some pretty good things down at Winton earlier in the year, and obviously finding his feet up here, but no one's touched John Magro.
Round 2 winner, John Magro, AMRS, Morgan
Keep it playing.
Park. You're continuing the form from Winton Raceway, mate. That's 108.24. Is there anything left in the tank?
I hope so, because we want to get under that lap record. So we'll see. It was funny, you know, on Friday on our older tyres, I was only actually a 10th off the lap record on Friday practice, and then we put new boots on Saturday morning, and the track grip had just gone away. So I don't know what happened, whether there's, you know, some rubber from a different category or something. But this race this morning felt like the grip's starting to come back up in the track. So I don't know, it'd be a bit of a long shot Savo because of the air temp and that. But you know, if the grip's there, we might be able to get down there.
Well, mate, we all doubted you at Winton, and we said you couldn't do it once the tyres were off, and you went and broke the all-time lap record. I know the punters up in the members' room up there are cheering and all, watching the live timing pretty closely, hoping to see it again. So, mate, fantastic form. One more to go. Let's have a crack. We really hope you can do it.
Yeah, we'll get in there. I've got to get a good start. I've just rubbished both my starts, you know, race 1 and 2. Just make a little mistake, and then I'm in second at the start of the race, so it's not real good for the tyres to be able to get a lap record. So I just need to get the start right. I've had a great battle with Richard Peasy. Yeah, we've just been, you know, back and forward in the races and a bit of side-by-side action in that race too, so it's good fun.
You enjoying the racetrack at Morgan Park?
Yeah, it's turned out pretty well. Like, it's usually a pretty hard track to overtake in one of these cars. Probably not big enough straight, because our brake zones are all around the 50-metre mark, so it's a bit hard to throw it in at 50 metres. But no, it's happening, and the safety car actually threw the dice there and gave us another go, so it was good.
Well, it's sensational weather out here today at Morgan Park, so as the day progresses, I hope everyone else like us is going to be standing there and looking over the fence and wishing John all the very best.
Well, John didn't need all the very best, as he ended up clean sweeping the weekend. He said it was hard to pass, but I tell you what, he made it look easy in race 2.
Yeah, and it's just in Kevin Stewart doing the interviews there. He's the AMRS CEO, basically. Good to see him multitasking.
Josh Buchan got a bad start on this night and unfortunately dropped way down the field. I think it was Buchan actually. Got up back up to 3rd, and he came back through, but then unfortunate contact with Shane Wilson down at turn 1. You'll see it here as we come down towards turn 1, goes to turn in, and the two of them meet in the middle.
Didn't see him there, did he?
And look how much air got under Wilson's car.
How lucky was he?
Yeah, unfortunate for him, that was not what we needed, and we go back to green flag racing, and Richard Peasy trying to chase down Magro out in front, and again was not able to lay a glove on him all weekend as Buchan continued his drive through the field, got involved in this pack in the middle, come around on the outside of the sweeper, got to the inside, didn't quite make it work there.
Gilmore Racing duo having an interesting scrap for what at the moment appears to be second spot.
I see it, they're trying to fight for that. They wanted to try to get one up on John Magro on home turf, but unfortunately we're not able to do it. And we can see here the great battle pack between Garrett Ruff, Roman Crimmins, Riley Brook. The three of them fighting hard, and it was Riley Brook who was working his way through it. He got past Crimmins here, and now he's on the back of Garrett Ruff, who had a spin at round 1 at Winton, but unfortunately dropped in well out of the contention. And then here, the three of them nose to tail racing for the whole of this last portion of
That's
the third
epic
race.
racing there, because Jared Ruff, we first seen him running in Prototype Series, had some good results there. I think he was down at Winton as well. So, but as you can see, there's Amanda Beat, Tech Motorsport Delara.
Absolutely caned him at the end of the day. 3 race victories, not quite as fast in race 3 as he had been earlier in the morning in race 2. A 108.36 his best lap, but he greeted the checkered flag. Clean sweep weekend again for John Magro.
Congratulations, Roman. A really good battle between you and Jarrett all weekend, and you finally managed to get on top, I think, on the last lap or the second to last lap of the race that counted.
Yeah, it was the last lap, a deep lunge into Gumtree, and it was good. It was good tight racing all weekend. Garrett, I think, was the class of the national class field. He took a huge step this weekend here, and credit to him. We had some good racing all through the field as well. It was great.
People that you'd like to thank for this weekend?
Absolutely. AMRS for sure. Always run a great event. The people at Morgan Park, great facility. The marshals, the volunteers, always do a great job for us. Of course, Dr. Mary Dingley, the Cosmetic Medicine Centre, my darling wife who supports my racing, Rebecca Kenny and David Marin of Certica, and Trav Kaz of Vision Technology Systems make it all possible.
Well done, Roman. Great weekend.
Oh, sorry, I've got to thank the guys. I've got to thank the guys at Artec Motorsport as well for providing a half-decent car all weekend.
Probably a good idea. Well done, though. Really, really good weekend for you, Roman, and closing up a little bit on that championship lead as well.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Lost a lot of points last round because of car problems, but we'll get there. We're here to enjoy it, and it's great. It's great fraternity to be part of.
Well done. Roman Krugman's our national class winner for Australian Formula 3 Round 2. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, John. We'll get you over for a quick chat if we can. So, obviously, this weekend qualifying was a bit closer than what it was in round 1 at Winton, and Richard certainly made you work for it in races 1 and 2. Talk us through your weekend.
Yeah, definitely. So, qualifying, I played around a little bit with the wings. Ian did tell me not to. But, just the balance wasn't quite right with the new tyres on. It changed a lot from the day before. And, Richard was just on it, and even Josh, and it was really close. So, that was great. And then race 1, Richard's got me off the start, and just had to keep the pressure on him. And about 3 laps from the end, he's just run a little bit wide, and I was just managed to get the nose in there, and, that made the difference. And then saw the same thing for race 2. He got the jump on me on the start, and we were pretty close there. And then a safety car come out, and I thought, yeah, here we go. I'll, get right on him straight after the safety car on the colder tyres. And he was just struggling a bit of front end grip, and managed to get the nose in there. And I think we were side by side for a couple of turns, so that was good fun. That was probably the highlight of the weekend, I'd say. And race 3, good start, and just drove it home. So unfortunately, didn't have track conditions this weekend for a lap record, but we'll try again the next meet. So
I think Taylor and Ben, there's a very good chance of you guys giving the lap record a real shake, that's for sure. Now, one last thing, we do have the Molecule Award as well for the Australian Formula 3 Championship. Anyone that you'd like to nominate for the Molecule Award this weekend?
Who should get that? I'd say Richard. Yeah, Richard Peasley. You should get that one.
Good stuff. Thanks very much. There he is, your Formula 3 Round 2 winner, John Magro. We'll get him to take his spot on the podium, please, so that we can get some photos. We'll get all 3 of you, please, to take your spot.
Wow.
There you go.
Formula
Great
3 over and done with for round 2. So
Richard Peasy getting the cleaning products there, courtesy of John Magro. I think there was a little dig there between the championship rivals. Great to see on one of the pieces of coverage we got as well, the 2 of them congratulating each other and chatting at the end of the race in the pit lane after Magro managed to get past. So
I think you'll find that most categories have that camaraderie off the track. It doesn't necessarily translate to being on the track.
100%. We also had RX8 Cup up at Morgan Park in Queensland. So we'll take a look at a few of their highlights now. A big field of cars travelling up there as that category continues to go from strength to strength, of course, led by Rick Shaw, who's put in hundreds of hours of work into it so far. He also is racing up at the Bathurst 6 Hour this weekend. So RX8 Cup highlights coming onto your screens in momentarily as we see.
Yeah, he didn't race it this round. He put his son in his own car.
That's it.
And Tom Shaw had his second outing in the category.
He was doing fairly well as well, but out in front, Aaron Crosser qualified on pole. Led the field down in turn 1. Ben Silvestro climbing in behind him. Terry Lewis in behind that. And Stephen McLean, who struggled in qualifying. Championship leader coming into the second round. And that was a pressure from Lachlan O'Hara in the early stages.
Yeah, he dominated the opening round at Wenton. And just, I guess, different track and different sort of circumstances.
unawares as he came charging towards us. The last thing you expect as a cameraman, a car coming directly at you.
Yeah.
And then you can see he's really pre-started and Aaron Prosser continued to lead the way. But unfortunate for Ben Silvestro, that would put him out of the weekend.
Yeah, that's not good. And if you don't know how the whole layout works, the start line is down along where they start, but in this area we see one go off the background. But where race control is turn 3, which is up the top of the hill.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those peculiarities that the park has. Of course, it is 3 tracks in one, and it was extended a few years ago to cater for meetings like this.
Well, there's tracks around the park, so there's multiple different layouts. This is the one that's the most often used.
Yeah, it's for national or state championship sort of races. They use this one, and to my way of thinking, it's the best one of the lot that they have. It's the longest, which is probably most important.
Prosser taking victory in race 3.
See Terry Lewis getting over the line.
Here we are with Jason Gaylor. It's his first event in a RX8 Cup, self-built, so they tell me, at Morgan Park, and he's got a big smile on his face. So, what do you reckon?
I'm having a blast, mate. Absolute blast. First time out, amazing little series, great people, everybody's helping each other, helping the rookie out here. It's been really good.
So the car looks very clean and tidy. It's still in one piece, so you're having a good run at the moment. One more to go?
One more to go. I'm getting closer and mixing up a bit more every round. Had a good run with Danny before and, you know, swapping places a little bit, getting close. Hopefully I can keep it just as tidy as it is now.
Awesome. And you're enjoying the Morgan Park layout?
Absolutely. It's a nice, quick little circuit. It's very good.
And how good's the weather this weekend, hey? Specially ordered for Australian Motor Racing Series.
Perfect. Not too hot. Plenty of sunlight. It's brilliant. Loving it.
So what have you got for the Kiwi up the front? You reckon you can catch him?
I need a new engine, so I'll get one of those, and then he's mine.
Good luck, mate. Welcome on the series, and it's an absolute pleasure to have an extra smiling face running around the Australian Motor Racing Series.
Too easy. Thanks, fella.
Morgan Park, round 2 AMRS, and so far today, clean sweep. Absolutely, must be the local knowledge. I'm with Aaron Prosser, and he's not giving everyone else a look in today.
Yeah, thanks very much. Definitely having a better round than our first round at Winton, and yeah, really enjoying the track here. I did the first round here last year, so this year's been the first time I've come back to these tracks again, so it gives you a little bit of what you're up for before you get here, I guess, yeah.
Distinct Kiwi accent too. They just seem to all send their best drivers over to Australia, so Aaron's clearly another one. The RX8 Cup, I mean, what a sensational category. Again, 20-odd cars make the trip up to Queensland. Are you enjoying your time in the RX8?
Yeah, it's great. I love the class. It's really close racing. All the cars are the same. We all run the same tyres, same brakes, same engines. Like, it's really good. And at the end of the day, it comes down to who can drive them the best. Wins pretty much, yeah.
Well, clearly that's you this weekend, so you just put that down to local knowledge, or is there a bit of extra form you found? Or, I mean, why are you so fast this weekend?
Oh, look, I wouldn't call it local knowledge. I've probably only been to this track 3 times, so yeah, I'm not sure. I think where we get our gains are we're really fast out of the box, so those first 2 laps I 100% committed, and we seem to pull that gap and then just maintain that gap for the rest of the race, so yeah, it's good.
Well, mate, I'm just watching all the other drivers come in, scratching their heads, jacking the car up, all absolutely working their backsides off trying to find some more speed. And you and your crew are just sitting around looking so relaxed. So clearly you're on top of things today. One more race. Are we going to see a clean sweep for the whole weekend?
Oh, look, I'd like to think so. We'll do the same as what we've done in the last 3 races, push really hard and do our best, and hopefully we end up at the front.
Looking forward to this afternoon's race. Let's see if Aaron Prosser can do it again. I reckon he will.
And he definitely would. Take another race victory.
Yep.
Aaron Prosser leading Terry Lewis away. He got up to 2nd place. Terry had a pretty decent first round with a just unfortunate couple of spins in the last race, but there he is now coming under pressure from Will Harris just in behind. Stephen McLean still behind that, a little bit further in the back. You can see them kicking up dirt. They started getting more aggressive with turn 2 as the weekend went by. Actually, no, Sam's in a red car now. Actually, he's changed out of the yellow one, so it's probably not him taking the pressure. It's probably Jason Gaylor taking that as we go. 44 goes wide, and that is just the marks.
Yeah, he had quite a few incidents down at Whitman where he explored the limits.
And then we had a muffler come off the rear of one of the cars. We have a slow motion replay about to play here, and it gives you a good view of what happened to disturb a bit of the wildlife and everything down there as he comes tips it into turn 1, which is enough to rip the rear bar off. Great shots by our pit lane cameraman this weekend, Chris Thompson, down there getting some great imagery. And what I love about this shot is here as it tumbles in, the birds take off and try to avoid a big piece of metal coming at them, which they probably didn't expect as it tumbles off into the dirt.
Yeah, it looks like it's missed them.
Yeah.
So
give that one 9 out of 10 for its pirouette style, though.
Animal liberationists, you'll be quite pleased that we didn't take any wildlife off anyone.
No animals were harmed
in the making of this video.
Yeah. As we come down into turn 1 yet again, you can see Silvestro just in front. And for Eric Maloof behind. So Eric Maloof was putting all sorts of pressure onto Silvestro, and then unfortunately came under pressure himself as he spun the car. But out in front, Aaron Prosser was able to lead the field home quite comfortably, taking home 4 race victories. 4 race victories from 4 races.
Yeah, Terry Lewis not far behind him in that shot.
Congratulations, Aaron. What a great way to bounce back after a tough start to the season at Winton.
Yeah, thanks, Lockie. Had a great weekend. We couldn't ask for a better result, qualifying on pole and winning all the races. Just like to thank my crew this weekend. Aaron Harris, he comes over from New Zealand to help us out, and everybody that helps us make the car go as good as we can get it to go, and look forward to the rest of the season.
Before you take your spot on the podium, we've got another special award this weekend. This is a new one. This is the Molecule Cleaning Award, and this is for you to choose someone who you think deserves this award. So maybe somebody who spent a bit of time in the dust this weekend. Is there someone you would like to nominate for the Molecule Award?
Oh, I think that'd have to go to Tom Shaw, to be honest. I think he mowed the most grass in the weekend, so yeah. Yeah, Tom Shaw.
All right, good stuff. So congratulations to our overall round winner, Aaron Prosser.
TA2 racing coming up after the RX8, and of course what a field, what a big field, and some really good stuff happening there off the start. Aaron Seaton, who was fastest qualifier, leading the way in race 2, and plenty of dust and whatnot kicked up there as these big cars try and find their way around the circuit. A bit different in profile to a RX8.
Tim Tritton with a huge moment in race 2 under the bridge. You can see there completely destroying the front of the car.
Well, Tim Tritton, not a good way to end day 1 at Morgan Park. What happened?
That's not a good day at all. Just coming under the bridge, full throttle, turn left. I don't know. Until we have a little look-see. And sideways into the tyre barrier, and then that was it. Yeah.
I mean, it was a massive impact when you look at the car, but you're okay?
I'm fine, a little bit sore, a little bit bruised, but yeah, look, I think coming out of that corner, you're doing it 140, 150 Ks, so yeah, I don't know. It's don't know until we have a look, but I'm okay. I'm okay though.
Yeah. Mate, and it's always been the best presented car in the field, so hopefully we'll see it back at round 3.
Slowly getting the worst, so you know, it's had a few hits more than Elvis, I reckon. So there you go.
Mate, the best part about it is you're okay. That's good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Bit of a drama there.
Yeah. We're going into the next race, of course, and again it's Seaton in front, George Medicki in 2nd position, and it looks like Russell Wright, 3rd one going up the hill.
Medicki putting all sorts of pressure over Seaton throughout this race. He was trying to keep the pressure on as we had a spin further back down the field. You'll be able to see plenty of TA2 highlights coming up on April 29th on Blendline TV. Make sure to tune in 8:30pm. And the Kubota cars having a good run as well in amongst all of this battle. You can see there Matthew McKeldin.
McKeldin in number 5.
A bit of a drama down into turn 1. There was a few dramas in the TA2s this weekend, and those guys collecting each other. Didn't quite see the start of it, so unsure what caused it. But this battle was on in earnest between these 3 guys.
Yeah, George Klulig, the man in the middle between McKeldin and Hugh McAllister there by the look of it. Oh, there's one way to go out of it. That was pretty nasty.
Yes. Unfortunate contact there as the 2 of them made their way into the wall, which did not help creating some straight TA2 cars. Not what we wanted to see before these guys also make their way across to Talon Bend on June 22nd, 23rd.
The parts truck must have done pretty well out of it.
I tell you what, there's definitely a few of them with a few repairs needed. You see here a shortened rear end model, almost looks like a hatchback Trans Am car, which is not exactly what they were made for initially.
Mind you, a lot of that's just purely cosmetic.
Yeah, and then Medeki had some sort of issue late in the race. It looked like the rear suspension failed, and the car was crabbing around. Yeah,
my understanding.
And he would not ultimately complete the race, which would put him all the way down the rear. Actually, I think he did complete the race, but
lost a lot of places.
Lost a lot of time and ended up parking on the back section of the circuit to be towed home. But Aaron Seaton was able to bring it home for victory.
Yeah, well, he's got a...
Well, Glenn Seaton, you must be really proud of your boy.
Unbelievably proud. I tell you what, to be able to go racing with your son and enjoy the, I suppose, the fruits of what he's doing now, early part of his career, is really enjoyable. It's something that us fathers always dream of having, and I've really got that. And he's doing a fantastic job. It's a fantastic class for young kids like this to learn from, because things got a lot of power. You're on a tyre that you sort of got to manage a bit, so it's actually really good for them, for a really good development series and a development category for them. But not only that, to see all the old guys out there in them too is fantastic too, because this is really good cost-effective racing, and it's great for all these young kids and old guys to actually mingle with each other.
Have fun. Mate, 3 out of 3 so far this weekend, but you can sense Medeki is just getting closer and closer and closer every race.
Yeah, definitely. The weekend's gone really well for us so far, and George is keeping the pressure on all the time, so it's been really good for my driving to have him in the category, and also everyone in the field. It's been a very special class in my development.
So who gives who advice now in car setup, okay? Who's actually the boss?
Well, he still lives at home with me, so he's still going to take orders from me. But no, the good thing about it is, naturally, with all my experience with owning a race team and running my own race car, I know technically what sort of to do, but you've also got to have someone who's giving you the right feedback, and Aaron's very good at that. I suppose it's just, we've spent a lot of time from karting right through to now, and we've spent a lot of time together, and we know what our jargle is between us with what we need from a car or a go-kart or whatever it is for him to go fast.
Well, you've set the benchmark and everybody's got to reach it, so well done, and continue the weekend in good form.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we've got one to go, and hopefully it goes well.
Well, that was the good interview. Father son there, very much alike, aren't they? And here's the fourth and final race for the weekend. Aaron Seaton again leading the way, but it looks like Nathan Hearn got into second spot off the line, and we have this damage. Russell Wright, Anthony Tengate, 2 of the protagonists in that one, and he might win the third one there.
Hard to tell, isn't it?
Yep.
But as 10K goes away here, you can see the car pitched to right. We've got a replay from in the car as he goes down into turn 2, gets a little bit of dirt. This would ultimately see this race red flagged initially, as they extracted that car and decided just to return everybody to the pit lane and do a full reset. But 10K here takes off, lights up the rears.
And it became a bit of a handful.
Just pitches right for some reason. Unsure as yet why. And he tips it in and then has to climb out of the vehicle. So luckily he's all okay and should be back at the next round. They were a little bit worried about him initially because side-on impact is not wonderful in one of these cars. Full restart, enabled people to repair the car in the pit lane after some of that action, and it was Nathan Hearn who took the advantage down into turn 1. Huge moment for him and Aaron Seaton, and it looked like a huge moment for Wright as well off the dirt on the inside, and he'd pull off the track and out of contention for this race, so not great for Russell.
First attempt to run this race, but there's Nathan Hearn, Formula Ford last year, big step up from a little open wheeler into one of these big beasts, but seems to be doing a reasonable job with it from what we can see. More action going on down the field. That looks like Drew Ridge having battles there in the number 3 Mustang.
See coming through the Kubota cars yet again in the middle of it, and then a little touch here for Murray Kent, and that would rotate him around. Hugh McAllister giving him a nudge, and you can see climbs up through the dirt and spends a little bit of time doing his own rallycross circuit down the back end of Morgan Park, crumps through the dust again, and then another rotation further back down in the field.
Number 77 going around.
Having all sorts of issues. as he came back onto the track, lighting it up. And here's a little bit of slow motion for TA2 just to whet everybody's appetite.
Bit of art.
Exactly. Look at these cars collecting the turn 1 curb, the Kubota cars.
Yeah, 2 team cars there. Hugh McAllister ahead of Matt McElderin.
How cool is it to see the whole car deflection and a little mark left on the tarmac as well as they come through. So we'll have more of that in the TV package, but it was Aaron Seaton putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Nathan Hearn as they came towards the end of this race. You had George Medecky storming his way back through the field as well, got right up there and was working on the back of Ashley Jarvis himself. We had a 5-car strain towards the end of this race, all of them in with a shot of the victory, and Nathan Hearn just trying to hold on for dear life.
And there's George putting a move on Ash Jarvis, taking that spot away, and it's what his father Andy Medecky in behind in the Dodge Challenger. So predominantly Mustangs and Dodgers in this little battle. Tomorrow, of course, of Jarvis there as well. So we see another one fire off at turn 1, and is that Hugh McAllister? Well, look at it, it's had a bit of a drama down there, but certainly pressure in the latter half of this race as Seaton tried to work his way past him, and then also try and protect his own position. And there the checkered flag comes out, and look how tight it was at the end.
16-year-old Nathan Hearn, how does it feel? You're a winner.
Yeah, no, it was good. We struggled a bit with the car pace all weekend, but you know, we managed to get ourselves in a good enough position to be in the front row for the last start, and it all came down to the start. So if we didn't get Aaron on the start, I knew I was going to be in a bit of trouble trying to get a win. So I made sure I just went into the start as hard as I could, and actually managed to pull it off. So from then on, I didn't even go on the clean side of the track. I was just blocking the whole way, trying to make sure my car was as wide as possible. And turns out, done a half-decent job, and we managed to actually get a win.
And it was an awesome move around the outside of Aaron at turn 1.
Yeah, no, it was a heart and throat type moment there. I just sucked it in and hoped for the best. So yeah, it paid off, which is good. But yeah, I probably won't be trying that anytime soon again.
So Russell Wright, what happened?
In the last race, yeah, good start. Well, we had 2 starts, of course. The second start was fine until I went into 3rd gear. No throttle, just nothing. So I just had to coast it around and try to get off the track as quick as I could. Found a bit of infield that I could go to and park the car up. Pulled the bonnet off, tried to secure the cable somehow. Nothing to hook it to, no tools to do anything with. I thought if I could just get a bit of revs, I'd just go around and get the laps done, but it wasn't to be. So just had to sit it out. Really frustrating because it puts you down, you know, 50, 60 points. And yeah, it takes the wind out of your sails in the terms of the championship.
All right, on the line we have Michael Kavich calling in from his accommodation, I think, up near Bathurst as he gets ready for the 6-hour ahead this weekend, racing for a cure. So we'll get Michael Kavich up on the screen and online, and there he is. So you can see bottom corner. Michael, thanks for joining us. Sorry we had a few technical difficulties earlier to be able to cause you to have to come back in like this.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on board. And now we'll get to the big news story, I guess, straight off the bat. The Bathurst 6-hour this weekend. You and your brother Ben racing together. It's going to be a huge weekend for you guys. You must be pretty excited.
Yeah, definitely pumped. Yeah, we've partner of Garth Alden this year. So Garth's obviously 3-time time attack champion. He's done a fair bit of fair few miles under his belt. So. Yeah, really excited actually. We think it's we've got a chance to sort of be pointing in the field. The car showed a lot of potential there last year, and I think it's just going to be a bit of a mixed bag this weekend with the different tyre, the new tyre, the MR2 tyre. So yeah, but we're pretty excited.
But of course, the main interest in what you're doing this weekend is something that's pretty close to your heart: race for a cause.
Yeah, the race for a cure. Yeah, that's right, Gary. We so this year it was something that was created by my brother Ben and his wife Tula. Tula diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2016. Actually, it was probably after the inaugural 6-hour event, and we decided to try and raise some funds, obviously, for the research of treatment for breast cancer done by Breast Cancer Trials up in Newcastle. So to date we've raised about $60,000, and obviously this year we're trying to raise a bit more funds as well. So
$60,000 is an impressive effort to have raised through motor racing. I think people probably aren't, I guess, understanding of how much work goes in behind the scenes from you guys to do that. So congratulations on that, firstly. But how much effort goes on? Because you're not only trying to prepare a race car, you're also trying to take that race car and use it as an educational tool to be able to get some more money in and raise funds for this great initiative. How do you guys go about that and juggling those two aspects?
Yeah, look, we're lucky enough that we've obviously employed Garth Walden from DWR to sort of look after the prep of the car and the actual maintenance and I suppose the development of the car. So we're quite lucky in that respect. But from the fundraising point of view, we've sort of gone to a lot of our suppliers that we use through our business entities, and they've come on board and they've shown us great support with obviously. Supporting us through that. So people like PPG, Western Freight, Fleet Management, and Western Freight Transport, a number of other entities that have, really backed us and sort of, even just as small as sometimes supplying product that we can actually sell as a raffle type thing. So those little things to sort of the actual dollar value that goes into it. So that's how we've sort of raised. Some funds that go towards charity, and then obviously those funds going to breast cancer trials, that ends up going towards, I suppose, research into sort of drugs and life-saving drugs that can actually help save lives.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to be able to raise that money and the support you guys have. Yep. We were talking a bit previously about how sorry about that. Tech difficulties is the way it goes. We've had some of those today. So I guess talking a bit about how this is an outreach tool, we were talking previously that you were finding that so many people don't realise the racing that goes on, and then when they see the car, they're actually intrigued that you're racing cars that are so similar to cars that they know at home.
Yeah, look, it was great. We actually we did a display up in Newcastle for the charity, and we got to talk to a lot of the general public actually. So they got to see the car and touch and feel it and jump inside it. So a lot of people don't really have an understanding. They thought obviously to the general public, motor racing I suppose is a very foreign thing. They almost always relate straight to Formula One, so to speak, because that is the most obviously recognisable motorsport sort of so there's the echelon. So it's interesting to get the feedback from the public, and particularly when it's associated with such a great cause with the breast cancer trials. It's a great sort of link, and it helps to create awareness, but also creates a great interest, just with motorsport in general. So that people that don't sort of really understand it or really have any sort of appreciation for it start to look at it a little bit differently. So that's what we've found so far. That's from my own personal experience, and it's actually quite enjoyable to sort of talk to some of these people that from all walks of life too. You get your anyone from the doctors and solicitors to you just basically average Joe Blow that doesn't really understand motorsport and what it's about and how it all works and the ins and outs of it, and we all enjoy.
I think it's amazing as well. Like, we know from inside the motorsport community how strong the motorsport community is and how much people care about each other and are willing to lend a hand. You see that so often, at race meetings especially, where people hang around and try to do something extra for each other or loan each other parts and things. So to be able to, I guess, take that community and show it off to the world through this method is something that's probably unreal to be able to experience.
It is, yeah, it definitely is. I think you touched on a good point there. I think most motor racers are very guarded about how the development of their cars. But when they see another competitor that needs support or help, they're very generous in that respect. Yeah. And we've found that with a lot of other racers that have just backed us in respect to basically donating to the charity. Yep. One racer that comes to mind is actually Andrew Fisher. He's a great guy. I've known Andrew for a long time. He actually donated some funds last year, which is nice. And there's a lot of other people that probably, the list is quite long. So we've been quite touched actually by the amount of support that we've received just from the motorsport community, which has been great.
Of course, you're racing against Andrew this weekend as well. He's joining up in BMW with Anthony Sewell, and Your name, the Cabbage, isn't exactly new in motorsport. It's been around a long time with your dad in Group A and a Commodore.
That's right.
And then you guys, you and Ben both followed him through. So you might just give us a bit outline on how you all got started in it and how it's developed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gary, you've known me for a long year, a lot of years. You've known me since I was a wee lad. As you touched on there, my dad ran back in the sort of the 80s, early 80s with an RX-7, and then obviously the Group A Commodore. Probably most well known for the Yellow Pages sponsorship of that car. And look, it just developed. Obviously, it was a natural progression for myself and Ben to be involved in motorsport. Not only through Dad's racing, we were involved around obviously his business, which was a panel beating business. So, yeah, look, from there I sort of developed into sort of historic touring cars. I always had a passion for Holden Toranas. I built my own little car back in the 90s. And then raced HQs and a bit of V8 utes and bits and pieces. And Ben the same, he's raced HQs, utes, Formula Ford. So we've dabbled from different categories. Unfortunately, and I think like most people in motorsport, you get involved in it, but funds permitting, you can't do everything. So we all have a dream of trying to be the next Craig Lowndes, but unfortunately for us, life gets in the way of dreams. So we concentrate on business, and and we've been lucky enough and successful enough to have some great people around us that have worked for us and supported us, and which has allowed us to do what we really love to do, which is is racing.
And we were talking before, you guys have actually, with doing this, let's not only think about the finances coming in, but it also takes a lot of effort from behind the scenes. That you're sacrificing a lot of sponsor income and sponsor signage on the side of your vehicle to be able to help out this cause. So I think that's a pretty impressive effort that people should actually take consideration of. That like, this isn't you guys just slapping a sticker on and going out there. The whole car is plastered like it, and it's pretty incredible to see. I mean, I was looking back as well through the last few years of cars that you guys have had up there, and it started a few years ago with a Subaru WRX, if I'm not wrong, and you guys have just developed it from there, and I think just something that needs to be applauded within the motorsport community.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that. That's correct. We don't really we like anyone in motorsport, it's hard to get sponsorship, but if you can get it, fantastic. But yeah, we probably back ourselves basically through funding wise, and that is pretty much part and parcel, I think, of most motorsport people out there. And we saw this as a bit of an opportunity, actually, realistically, not only to raise awareness, but also to show that there's probably another avenue out there that you can, motorsport can be used for it. It's not just about basically advertising, I suppose, energy drinks and that
oils.
And I'm sure there's plenty of teams out there in the echelon of sport that probably basically have done the same sort of route that we've had, but obviously they've got a bit more of a budget and a bit more of a business to run than what we do. So,
just moving towards the 6 hour and then thinking about that race specifically. What's the goal for the weekend? What do you guys want to achieve? I know
win it.
Well, yeah, I know there's raising the money, but I guess the goal is probably winning it. You're in an outright car.
Yeah, look, that is the goal. Obviously, it always is when you go into a big event like this. We want to obviously buy a ticket into the last stint. That's that's probably, I suppose, on the agenda. Firstly, definitely we want to win it. That's we've got a good crew behind us with GWR Racing.
Yep.
All the guys there are very professional. They run running 2 cars this weekend, not only us, but Mick Ald and Bloomfield car, which is the A45.
Yep.
Some stiff competition. I think me and Garry were talking earlier that earlier today. It is a very stiff field this year. There's a lot of fast cars there. I think you've got the Sharon guys. You've got the new Sealer car. There's a couple of BMWs, I believe, that will be pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure.
If we can end up the front, that'd be the ultimate. But so there we go. It's a long race, 6 hours.
How do you manage being a production car, and you've raced in sprint races where it's just flat chat the whole way? In this race, you've got to feather the car a bit at times. It's not a sprint race.
Yeah, a bit of conservative. Look, we've got a great engineer in Dion who sort of works with Gus, so he's sort of here all the time to sort of gives a bit of feedback. Yeah, it's like anything, guys. You just sort of try and conserve tyre. Although Bathurst is not a real tyre circuit, not just really working the car to the point where you're wringing its neck, so to speak. And look, just pay attention to the traffic that's around you and not get into those little silly battles with other competitors that essentially won't win you the race. Track position is always important, even in a long distance race like this. But I think just keeping your head about yourself and getting to a nice little pattern and just stay in that pattern. With someone like Garth, he's fairly quick. I would intend that he's probably going to be a little bit quicker than me because he's been around a lot longer than me. But
it's also steering a lot, so he's a gun driver.
Yeah. And we'll play some strategy.
You make him sound old.
Exactly. So, look, I get one time a year to sit in the seat. This is it. So, and then apart from probably the production car rounds and the sprint rounds, they're definitely a different kettle of fish. I suppose it's just probably bringing it back a peg and just being a bit smart about how you do things.
I was going to ask you what's the plans for the rest of the year. So the 6 hour is the one event you guys will be doing this year?
Yeah, definitely. 6 hour, probably try and do muscle car round. That's a night round.
Yep.
And probably a couple more rounds of the production touring car championship, obviously for New South Wales. I think the national stuff is probably just a bit out of reach at the moment for us, just with work commitments.
For sure.
And yeah, I think that's about it at the moment. I mean, the 6 hours has been great because the amount of seat time that we get in the car.
Yeah, it's not just a race; it's all lead up as well. So you get plenty of track time.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost it takes you back to the old days. You probably basically remember, Gaz, when it was when it was the privateers and anyone had a chance.
Gary was definitely there.
Horses and carts, I think.
He knows what it's like. I was going to say, we've probably taken up enough of your time here with a race week, trying to get everything ready and the rush up to get up to the mountain, which everybody is doing at the moment. You keep a track on Facebook. Where this weekend, what garage can people find you in if they want to come by and check out the car or lend their support? And also, where can we get the links and the portals to be able to donate something to this cause for people who are interested out there?
Garage number 9 we're located, which I think is down towards the end of Pit Straight.
Yep.
Fast end.
There you go.
The fast end, exactly. Yeah, we're the 888 end. So just come down there. Basically, if anyone wants to donate online, www.raceforacure.org.au. We have for this year with the initiative, anyone who donates, we've put their name on the car. So it was a bit of a ride with Race for a Cure. We've actually got some stickers made up as well for anyone who wants to sort of donate. There you go.
Oh, awesome. Look at that. There we go. We're in. We're in.
They'll be on the car.
Excellent.
So anyone wants anything from a dollar donation to anything exactly from that point, we can we'll pen their name out and it'll run around in 6 hours. So they can officially say they've been part of a car.
The winning race team.
That's it. Hopefully we're on the winner. That's it. Proud to be involved. It'll be great. And I guess we'll also keep an eye out on the hashtag Race for a Cure.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. No worries. We'll be tweeting at that one, I'm sure, Gary. You'll be up there, so you'll be able to watch out.
An eye on it,
I'll keep an eye out on the coverage. Michael Kavich, good luck this weekend. Thank you so much for your time and being able to hook up with us here on the phone and video in and give everyone an insight into a bit of, I guess, positivity that's happening in motorsport and in the wider world at general at the moment.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Cheers. Thank you, Michael. There you go. So a great interview there with Michael as we just try to turn off turn off the call, and we're back in the studio. So we hope that gave everyone a bit of an insight into what's going on in motorsport. Make sure to get up to the mountain and check out the 6 hour this weekend. It should be pretty impressive to see. And
isn't it awesome? We've got people that go there not only
doing
their
real
own cause
stuff
to win a race, but for a greater cause as well, to find a cure for cancer, which is in any sort of cancer, it's a nasty business. There seems to be, it doesn't discriminate. It hits everyone. And Michael did say to us earlier that everyone is affected by it one way or the other, whether it be themselves or someone very close to them, and I don't think anyone misses that. So
Yeah, exactly.
we wish them the best of luck for the 6 hour coming up this weekend.
Sorry, I'm just finishing off some things there. Hey, Andrew McGrath checking in. Thank you very much for watching, everybody who's joined us so far. Now, we were going to get to some action down at Pheasant Wood this weekend. This camera. There we go.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out which camera we're on. We're going to get out down to Pheasant Wood in this episode. I think we've just been beaten for time, though. We're up against the hour. We're trying to keep these shows to a bit of a more manageable hour for everybody to enjoy.
Indeed.
So we're hoping to get down to Pheasant Wood actually and check out some of the action down there and have a look at the revamped circuit.
We want to do a track walk and maybe jump in the car and go around as well and just film it all, so you get a fair idea what this place is like. And from what we've seen of it, it is something special.
It is definitely, and there's plenty of racing going on down there at the moment. The Legend cars were there last weekend. They'll be out at Wakefield Park on May 4 and 5 with the truck round, which is presented by the Astor Hotel. The Wakefield 300 returning as well, which will be pretty interesting to see. Some fast cars after we saw them at Sydney Motorsport Park for the inaugural Sydney 300.
And it's nice that we're getting this sort of, not quite related, but people can run a series. I know MRA are going to run a series, that's Motor Racing Australia, but this one just is a nice fit. It's a good practice for the next round of the MRA, not the NRMA, but the MRA.
So we'll take a look quickly at the calendar of what's on this weekend of motorsport. We'll just bring that up on screen. And in New South Wales, Gary, I'll let you take it away.
Well, this is New South Wales, of course. We've got the 6 hour regularity at Sydney Motorsport Park, and if you ring the ARDC, you might still get a gig there as a flaggy. I think they're still looking for some people to help out on that weekend, and it's a very special sort of event. Takes a bit to digest, but how it actually works, but you see some nice race cuts, eh?
I wouldn't want to try to eat the weekend.
No.
That would take a lot to digest. So probably just get out there and have a watch, to be honest.
No, just to understand the way the regulations work.
Unless
Unless you want to tell everyone how they do work.
No, I just know there's
Queensland.
trading cars that go on.
We're going to Queensland now, and of course we've got the Golden Jubilee Redlands Hill Climb at Mount Cotton. Runs from April 19 through to 23, and Mount Cotton is the home of the Queensland Hill Climb Series, brought to you by Ty Cams, and we know from one of our good friends to the show, Dean Cam, who runs that business, and of course he's been running around lately in the New South Wales Hill Climb Championship. So go up and support this event if you've got nothing better to do, and Mount Cotton's a pretty good track to go and watch hill climb action at.
WA now.
WA, Western Australia. We go all the way to the other side of the well, we've got an infinite time attack at Barbagallo Raceway. Of course, this is a super sprint with a difference, because these cars go a lot quicker than your general super sprint stuff, and you usually got the big wings and the big front splitter on the front at the front, and they put in some pretty impressive times. We've seen them at World Time Attack at Sydney Motorsport Park, and also they've had events at Winton in Victoria. But also, while we're here in WA, of course, if you don't want to go to Barbagallo, you can always go out to Carnarvon with only one A in it, not the two there together, for the State Hill Climb Championship round 2.
It's also not IRL. Had a few spelling issues there. I'll blame the graphics creator. That's me.
Yeah, brought to you by the West Australian Off-Road Championship. And of course these events are really well supported, and second round of this one, only had the first round not that long ago. Northern Territory, we cover all states here with events coming up, and they've got the North Australia Motorsport Club Megacana Motorcana at Hidden Valley Raceway, April 20 to 21, and they have quite a strong support for Motorcana, but obviously this is the big one for the year, and they'll be out there. Of course, we'll be up there in June. Some of us will be for the supercar round, and of course the local club, which is NAMSC, run the combined sedans up there. Now we go quite to the other end of the world with Victoria, and of course they've got Nissan Datsun Nationals at Super Sprint at Sandown Raceway. And of course, it doesn't discriminate. Whether it be a Datsun or a Nissan, you're okay.
And you're a Sandown. Pretty cool racetrack, that one. Hopefully it'll stay for a bit longer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people worried about the future of that one. And then,
well, there's lots of people that love their Nissans and Datsuns.
And I think that's the end of our calendar. That is the end of our calendar. So we will try to find out more about what's going on around... No, it's not the end of our calendar. We're back at South Australia. This is the end of our calendar. Falcon GT Nationals Hill Climb, Gary.
Oh, Willunga Hill Climb at Willunga. And this is... obviously, you must own a Ford Falcon GT to have a run at this one.
I have no idea.
I'd like to own that one.
It would be worthwhile. It's even on a track, so it's ready to go.
Yeah.
But it should be a good weekend up there. And that is the end of our calendar now, as we have seen around the nation. We've also got the big event up at Bathurst, the 6 hour coming up. So that'll be plenty of action to see. A few of our great categories up there, notably Prod Sports and GT1, and a few of our production touring car competitors as well. That about wraps it up for this week's episode of Blendline TV Live. Gary, we'll be back next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Every Wednesday night, you'll be able to find us here 8 p.m. on Blendline TV, Facebook page, YouTube channel. Make sure to get in touch if you've got any events. Let us know what is happening. And hopefully we'll be able to see you all around the traps.
Yeah, look forward to it.
And if you'd like to support Blendline TV Live, please get in touch. Send us an email at info@dgbmedia.com.au. We've got plenty of wall space for any sort of stickers, and we're happy to come out to events as well. Anything we can do to work with the community to make this show keep on working will be what we want to be involved with. But until next time, I'm Daniel Beckinsale. Thanks for joining us. See you guys later.